On today's show, we're just 1 week away from becoming legends. Destiny releases in 7 days. We have some big raid news and more on today's DTS.
You're listening to Destiny the Show. Welcome, Guardians.
So here we are, just mere moments away from taking our first steps into the adventure that awaits. Mighty foes lay in our path, yet I am sure we shall conquer. Ditty, what is up? Welcome to show number 8. And this is probably the most exciting week in the last few weeks for me, because what happens in about 1 week?
Oh my gosh, our lives change as we know it. Seriously, it's
a big deal.
Yeah, we leave Earth and we enter the world of Destiny.
I'm so pumped. These last few weeks, have been, I cannot emphasize it enough, doesn't the beta feel like years ago?
Seriously, it really does.
I can't believe that's 8 weeks or whatever. It's actually not 8 weeks. It's something like 6 weeks, isn't it?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure it's like 6 weeks, which just blows my mind. Before we get into the news today, you and I both are doing stuff on our channels other than Destiny things, and I think it's okay. Can I finally talk about the secret, since it's not so secret anymore, that you have been playing that game?
Yes.
So what have you been up to? Tell people about the series on your channel.
I've been posting daily League of Legends commentaries I'm a mid-silver player, and currently, and I consider myself to be a little bit better, and I have some knowledge and understanding of the game that most lower elo players don't, because I watch a lot of pro streamers, and I just try and explain the things that I'm doing as I'm doing them, and the struggle is real. There are just some things you cannot control in League of Legends. Like, even if you do well, you have 4 other teammates to worry about, and if they don't do well, you're not going to win. So
that's why it always makes it entertaining, man, because so many dynamic elements. Each game is totally different. Sometimes you just wipe the floor with people, and other times there's been a few games where it's like, how is this person getting matched with you? You know what I'm saying? It's like, how did they find the keyboard to even plug into the computer?
Exactly. Exactly. I had a few games the other day where I was playing top in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely destroy my top laner.
Yeah.
But mid lane gave a double kill. Bot lane gave a triple kill when a jungle gank happened. And then it's just like, I can't do anything.
Was this the NID game you tweeted out? Because I saw that. Yeah.
Yes.
Struggle's real. Check it out. I have been doing over on my channel StarCraft 2 stuff. With the internet being so slow where I'm at in this kind of dead period, just been playing StarCraft 2 again. I'm having a lot of fun. I've lost 2 games on my new Smurfy account, and both were heartaches. They were really sad to lose, but that's okay. I'm going to start losing way more. Everybody has all these false expectations, like, whoa, no way, that's cool. And it's like, yep, this is gold. And then this is why I don't want to do live games once you get to platinum, because that 50% win ratio is an ideal that I hope to hit. It's like a dream in a fantasy land, so we'll see if my uploads continue. Let's get into the news. Coming up first today is the Xbox One version of Destiny sold early to a user. Shows on the box that up to 40 gigabytes of storage is required for the Xbox One version. That seems like a lot, but actually Titanfall was like 55 gigs. WoW, SC2, those games are usually about 23 to 24 gigs. So it really makes sense to me when you're talking about next gen, you're talking about huge HD textures, stuff that's going above and beyond, and probably a lot of audio files. So does this strike you as something shocking, Ditty?
Absolutely not.
I mean, what was our beta download? Wasn't it like 13, 14 gigs?
Yeah, it was over 10.
Yeah, so not a big deal, but it is if you've got a Xbox One. I don't know how your Xbox One hard drive could be full. There's nothing to put on it.
Seriously, like, it just came out, right?
Yeah, and there's like no games, really, so...
And isn't it 500 gigabytes?
I have no idea. Honestly, I wish I knew more about it, but it's been used as a laptop stand for the last 6 weeks. The box is still right down here, and I'm like, I'm going to have to set you up, I guess. Yep, probably going to need to do that.
Exactly.
You sent me this link, a glitch to load the map in the beta. So can you explain this?
Yeah, there's a couple users, obviously, who try to phase through certain parts of the environment. and this one guy found in like I can't remember, what is it, the abandoned shore towards the area where there were like super high level enemies that you couldn't kill. You could phase through a wall and actually get through to the part that those high level enemies were guarding, but they wouldn't spawn because it was glitched. So it was just showing everybody that there's a lot of content down underground in the Cosmodrome on Earth, and that we just haven't seen yet. So it's like the beta was a small portion of Destiny, and there's a lot of Earth that we haven't seen yet, and it was just putting to rest some arguments that people still had that Destiny was going to be small.
Yeah, we've already seen or talked about this earlier in the shows, or like, who's going to break this first? Who's going to actually go into the beta and get out of the map? And this kid, it looks like, also has another video of getting under the map, and it just goes to show, you know, there's quite a bit more than what meets the eyes. So
yeah, there's been a few arguments too that, and I say arguments, I mean discussions, about this game is going to be massive by Bungie's standards. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be massive by gamers' standards. So it's going to be, it's all relative. You know what I mean? Because it could be a massive game that Bungie has created. It's bigger than anything they've ever created before, right?
yeah.
But to us, I mean, we've seen Skyrim and WoW and all that other stuff, and those games are huge, but Bungie didn't work on those. This is a huge project that they're trying to create, and by their standards, it's massive. So I think a lot of people are misunderstanding what Bungie means by Destiny is going to be huge.
Yeah. Well, I know that I'm looking forward to it. I'm basically canceling the WoW subscription until November when Warlords of Draenor comes out. And I might even wait a little bit longer just because I know basically for the next long while every night I'm getting to come home and I'm getting to play some Destiny. And that's the thing that the beta conveyed to me that I like so much. It's like, yep, this is going to be a new daily FPS with something different to do every day. If I don't feel like PvP, let's go grind some PvE. If I don't feel like doing, you know, competitive whatever, you really get the opportunity to do a wide array of things, and I just look forward to that. You know, I feel like there's been a big missing gap in terms of FPS for a long time, because I don't know about you, I'm worn out on the only multiplayer activity being PvP in competitive shooters. You know what I'm saying?
Seriously, yeah. It's just like, I don't want to go hard 24/7 when I play a game. It's just like, I want to relax. I want to have some fun. I want to just kill some enemies, you know?
Yeah, you also don't want to grind the same campaign over and over again.
Or firefight.
Yeah, this offers a nice, flexible place for that. You also sent me this link to the mobile Destiny app for a Windows phone has been developed by a user of Destiny, and you said it's pretty good, right?
Yeah, it's almost on par with the Bungie made companion app. It's actually pretty good. Obviously, with our beta characters being wiped, it doesn't really work right now. Mm-hmm. But the developers, like, guys, there's no content for us to put out there right now. So just wait for the game to launch and you'll be able to see it. But there is a mobile app for Windows Phone now. It's not made by Bungie. It's made by a third-party fan.
Yeah.
But it works.
Good. And you're happy, which is good.
I'm happy.
They got snubbed a little bit there. That's not right that they didn't do companion.
It's understandable because Windows Phone makes up like 5% of the mobile phone market, and that's tiny. So I understand, but it's still nice to have.
Agreed. In Bungie's latest weekly update, and in fact, Lurker Zero probably tweeted us this. Shout out, man. In their latest weekly update, Bungie features a Q&A about Destiny's Raid. And I actually have a screen cap talking about some of that stuff here that I'll bring up. But the big points to note is that within raiding, there are 2 difficulty modes, which this is the first I think we've ever heard about this. There will be a normal mode and a hard mode. Hard mode being significantly more challenging, obviously, than the normal mode. The 16-hour rumor was fleshed out and kind of explained. So they brought 2 groups into, 2 or 3 groups, I think, actually, it's 2 groups into the studio for 2 days of play testing. They filmed them, they fed them. It was their first time with Destiny, and they basically let them at a raid. They let them get used to Destiny, level some characters, and then get at a raid. And it was a full-on focus group for them to figure out how this works, how other players could handle these things. So here's the details. 2 groups made it to the final encounter of the raid within that 2-day time period. Neither group defeated it. One group that made it to the final encounter had to actually be skipped to that final encounter because they couldn't get past an earlier encounter. So that means they got stuck on a boss, and Bungie's like, okay, guys, let's move you on. Let's get you to that end point there. And then one group washed out and elected to go back to playing strikes entirely and doing missions as well as patrols. So there's your kind of overarching theme. You had two groups make it, didn't beat it. One group who had to actually be pushed right to the end, and then one group who said, screw this, let's go back to playing strikes. The goal is as many players as possible to beat the normal raid, and they made changes all through the spring to make sure that players could organize, cooperate, and communicate in a way in which they could beat the normal mode raid. But they did note that the hard mode is going to be entirely more difficult, obviously, and just that big pinnacle challenge. So something we've talked about here on the show is like, will the overwhelming difficulty curve of raids be too much for players, and will this be something that only 2% or 3% of the population get to do? It sounds like they have tuned things to where they want as many players as possible to experience the normal mode content. Ditty, your thoughts?
I'm really excited that the raids, I'm viewing the raids as end game content, right?
Yeah.
I'm really excited that Bungie is providing end game content that not everybody's gonna succeed in. That really draws my attention, because obviously the normal difficulty of raid is gonna be hard, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's gonna be difficult to complete without, an organized group of people. But it's still doable, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that they have two difficulty settings, which is the same as the strikes, we had the normal and the hard difficulties in the beta.
Yep.
The hard difficulty, if I remember correctly, it was like reduced armor and reduced damage with shotguns or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It really changes the way you're going to play the raid. It's not like, oh, I need to use more bullets to do this. I mean, obviously, if your shotgun does less damage, you're going to have to use more bullets, but that might make you think, I need to use a different weapon this time. I need to approach this enemy in a different way. And I really like that the end game content is not going to be successful it's not going to be completed by a majority of the population. I really like that, in my opinion.
Yeah, for hard mode players. I think for normal, we're probably going to see about, let's say, 60-70% who are going to be able to at least experience it. Doesn't mean that they're going to clear everything, but at least experiencing that content. Weekly progress resets on Tuesday morning, which is the exact same way that WoW works. So every Tuesday, WoW does a server reset, and you can gain more Valor if you've hit your Valor cap. You can get loot from bosses.
This just a little bit more? Is this so? Like when you do a raid, right? Say there's 4 areas in the raid, and I complete 2 of them.
Yeah,
I can leave that raid and go do something else, and then come back and pick up where I left off.
Maybe.
Is that correct?
I think that would probably be the idea, because I don't think they're obviously not expecting you to beat the entire raid in one night. It'll probably have wings. Let's use the word wings. So you probably can't pick up in the middle of a wing. Let's say each wing has 3 boss fights, so each week you have 12 bosses that you need to down, right? If you want to do the full raid, but there's 4 wings. It won't let you resume if you're like on the second boss of the first wing. That won't happen. You have to beat all 3 bosses in each wing. But let's say you've cleared wings 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, you can go do something else. They're not expecting you to beat every single wing all in one sitting. You could come back the next day and go for it. But if you haven't cleared it by Tuesday morning, then the full reset happens. So you're really going to need to plan out, hey guys, we're going to be on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday we're clearing it because I work Sunday and Monday. I can't be with you guys to raid. So
exactly. So once Tuesday rolls around, if you haven't completed any progress in the raid, is going to be just wiped out.
Yeah, but it's also for loot. It's loot resets. So when same thing as WoW. When you beat a raid, there's a percentage table of what loot can drop and the percentage of like, well, there's a 20% chance this piece of gear that I want will drop from this boss. If it doesn't drop, then you have to wait until next week for another chance to get loot from that boss.
Okay.
Same is going to be true with these raids because they're going to drop loot specific. It's all private, just like it was in the beta, and the drops are once a week. So if you beat a wing and you get some sweet gear, that's awesome. But Bungie isn't going to let you sit there and farm it over and over and over again, so you can just keep getting sweet gear. It adds weight. It adds a nice level to things. It could be frustrating, of course, if there's a piece of gear that you want to drop in like old school WoW. This was notoriously like insane. People would basically do raids for months trying to get group members like specific pieces of gear. If it didn't drop, well, then we got to wait for next week. Tom's not getting his chest piece this time. So special gear for each difficulty. Should be noted that normal mode will have its own set of armor, and that hard mode will have its own set of loot that's going to drop. So you can expect the hard mode loot to be far more superior and visually distinct from the normal mode stuff, to show off the fact that I'm cool and I'm elite and I beat the raid on the hard difficulty. And that's about it from that article. So pretty cool stuff, I thought. The 16-hour thing, guys, you should just probably presume that since this was a focus group, these guys played for 16 hours, but it's not probably going to take users 16 hours.
It was their first experience with Destiny as well. So once you hit the raids, you're going to have like 20 hours under your belt. So you're going to know how to play the game. You're going to have more mechanical skill than they had. So obviously, it might not take you 16 hours, but it's still going to be difficult, you know?
Yep. And last point there is they note that raids are behind the vault, and it takes a while to figure out how to unlock the raid. But once you do, it should be repeatable and pretty easily. So it has some interaction with vault. And I don't know if that keyword...
The Vault of Glass? Is that what that is? Maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe.
I mean,
Definitely.
I'm assuming. So. Microsoft confirms Destiny will be available for digital pre-order and preloading on the Xbox One, but not to 360 owners. Ditty just told me about this before the show got going. What's going on there?
Preloading is a next-generation console feature, and that means if you digitally pre-order the game through the Xbox One store, marketplace, whatever, or the PlayStation 4 marketplace, PlayStation Network, whatever, then it will automatically start downloading before the Destiny release date. So I know for a fact on PlayStation 4, the preload starts on the 7th, so that's going to be Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably going to be similar for the Xbox One. And you just have, for people with slower internet connections, that's why they do this. And the next generation console is really the first time that companies are able to do this. It just allows more people to experience the game on launch day. Instead of midnight on Tuesday, I have a 0.01 megabit download per second internet connection. It's going to take me 3 weeks to download the game.
That'd be me. It actually would take probably 2 months, man.
But it's just to help more people access the game on launch day. So it'll start I'm going to have, since I have Verizon Fios, not to brag or anything, I'm going to have Destiny on my console playable Sunday evening.
Rub it in.
And I'm not going to be able to play it. It's going to suck, man.
Mm-hmm. Tell me more about your fast internet. That's just amazing. It's great. I have to kick people off of their email accounts if I want to do stuff. Hey, you Googling something?
Remember back in the day when you're using the internet and your mom picked up the phone? You're like,
no, kicked offline again. Like the dial-up noise, man. Classic internet. That kids don't even know. They don't even know. Newsweek chooses Destiny for their latest special edition issue, and it includes a 60-page strategy guide. I am assuming that Newsweek does some sort of gaming publication, because if this is the Newsweek they gave me in school, there was never anything to do with video games in there.
Seriously, yeah.
And a 60-page strategy guide, that sounds cool, and the more I was reading, I was like, nice. But then I realized the internet has become a thing, and as much as I like 60-page strategy guides, the internet has just destroyed that market for me. I don't look towards those things anymore.
Exactly. The internet exists. I don't need a strategy guide.
Yeah, but if you guys are interested, check out the link in our show notes. If you pre-order, I thought this was interesting, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare at GameStop, you get an unlock of a level 20 blacksmith armor shader in Destiny. So here it is, guys. The Activision cross promotion has begun.
That's why. Yeah, I had to think about that for a second. I'm like, why? That doesn't make any sense, but Activision, that makes more sense.
Yeah, did you see the armor picture? It's pretty cool.
I did.
It's black and gold.
Yeah, black and gold is always nice.
Yeah, but I don't think this is a big deal. Nobody should be losing their mind over this. But I'm getting ready for the more exclusive stuff where it's like buy the Advanced Warfare DLC and get a special pair of boots in Destiny. I'm all for that kind of stuff, by the way. Like, the more they put into the game that's cosmetic, regardless if it's a cross promotion for their other franchises, all for it. So, and then 3A announces Destiny 1/6 scale action figures in the works. I don't really care about this, but I put it in because hopefully some of you would.
Yeah, it's just a nice collector's item for people to put on their shelves and brag about to their friends.
Yeah. You collectors. Why don't you rub it in just like Ditty's internet?
This is your ghost, Miranda. And when I'm not out helping Guardians, I'm listening to Destiny the Show.
All right, so for today's topic, we have two brief things. The PlayStation exclusive content trailer was released, and it's about a minute long, and it shows off the stuff that PlayStation users are getting right away from launch that us Xbox peasants don't get. Ditty, did you see the trailer?
Yes, I did, actually, and I was the first one to post on the Destiny subreddit that the Hawk Moon hand cannon actually has at least 13 bullets in the clip.
How did you know this?
Well, I saw it in the Destiny exclusive content trailer.
Boom!
There you go.
Shots fired, son. Well, let's take the rundown. You get a Monte Carlo rifle, a Hawk Moon hand cannon. There's 3 exclusive ships. There's the Dust Palace Strike. There are 3 gear sets, as well as the Exodus Blue multiplayer map. And actually, it all looked really cool, especially the Dust Palace Strike, dude.
Definitely. I'm really excited. And don't worry, guys. I will make videos of all the PlayStation exclusive content, because I'm going to assume most of you are Xbox fans or Xbox users.
I think we have a mixed audience, to be honest.
Mixed audience, at least. Okay. All right. That's good. So
diversity.
You'll see that content over on my channel.
Not on my channel, but you can drive over to Ditty's channel. And I'm really actually okay with this. All of this stuff looks really cool, but at the same time, I don't feel like, gosh, Dad loves that kid better than he loves me. Why does that one always get the toys and I get nothing? No, I don't really mind the gear sets. The one thing that I would like is that Dust Palace Strike, because that looks really cool. And we will get it, it's just...
You're going to get it a year later.
Yeah.
It's a year of exclusive content for the PlayStation users.
I thought it was going to be more, to be honest. I was pretty worried that you guys were going to be getting... Well, you probably are going to get a lot more. I think this is the start of many, many things that come your way first. But
we'll probably get the expansions a little bit earlier, too.
That makes sense. That makes sense, because what has Activision done for the last forever with Call of Duty
Seriously?
DLCs?
Yeah.
The Xbox users get it first. So, leads us to our question. Will the exclusive content for the PlayStation users directly affect the reception of the game for Xbox users like myself?
You take it first.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking about that. I'm like, I just asked a PlayStation user the question that was probably for me. I think you can take it either way, and that's the worst answer possible. For me, I've already told you my personal opinion. I want the Dust Palace Strike. The rest of the stuff, I don't really care that much about. I'm going to have way too much to do anyway, and the fact that once the game comes out and we'll see, I think we were saying 16 strikes, maybe more. I can't remember the numbers. It's been so long. That's a lot of strikes, and I'll be content as soon as the game comes out. But when all I've seen is the beta, and I've only had 1 strike, looking at that beautiful footage of what looks like, I don't know, a palace on Tatooine and a warlock doing a giant AoE blast, makes me want the game. The Monte Carlo rifle looks really cool too, but at the end of the day, I really don't think it's going to matter, and it shouldn't matter because you can't change it. So Xbox users, we've known since a year before forever that this is a PlayStation hyped marketing game. They've got a contract and they're pushing it. We've also heard from the people at Bungie that they want to deliver the best experience for all users possible. So bite the bullet, be patient, and I think we'll be just fine. That's where I stand. Ditty?
Yeah, if it was a full expansion ahead of Xbox users, like if this content provided at launch was like half of an extra game that Xbox users didn't get, I would be upset, right?
Yeah.
Because you would be missing out on so much content, but you're only missing out on 1 strike and 1 multiplayer map and a bunch of gear. Like, it's not really that much of a difference. Like, I'm definitely going to use this gear, but once I find something better, it's gone. I'm replacing that.
Yeah.
Because there will be better gear that I find in Destiny. And, like, even as I'm just using that gear that's provided to me at launch or whatever, actually, now that I think about it, we can probably unlock it in the game, but it's probably going to be like a higher level to use. So we'd have to level up anyway to use it. And at that point, I'll probably find legendary armor that I can use anyways. So
exactly.
It could be redundant, you know?
Yep. But
the strike and the extra multiplayer map, I wouldn't be too upset about it, to be honest.
No. In the grand scheme of things, when it first comes out, I'm a little sad, but then you deal with it, honestly. It's not that big of a deal. And I think that's as much as we can get out of it. We've kind of squeezed that topic enough, and I want to thank all of our listeners for hanging out with us the last, since the beta stopped, 4 or 5 weeks. We've actually had a big growth in the listener viewer base, which I'm really surprised at, and thankful, of course. But there's just been a pretty dry, barren field of no big news, essentially. We've had a little bits and tidbits, and we've tried our best, but we're coming into a beautiful time of the year, and the fact that we're all going to be able to play the game and talk about something we're experiencing each week, I think it's going to transform the way the show works and operates and communicates with our listeners. And that leads me to the last question before we actually dig into Destiny. Ditty, what are you going to do first in Destiny, other than create a character? I'm wondering what character you're going to do, race, class, what are you thinking?
I'm going to stick with my original beta character. I'm going to do an awoken male hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And
I knew you were doing hunter.
Of course, man. Got to represent. I have a cape. Come
Well,
on.
you do have a cape. It's a pretty cool cape.
The Incredibles lady would hate me, though. But I'm definitely going to flesh out a lot of the campaign first, because I'm really interested to see what kind of universe that Bungie has built for us this time. I'm really into the lore, and even though I might play the story missions only once, that's what I'm going to be doing first, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm in a similar boat. I'm not even going to touch Crucible. Honestly, I just don't even see myself going towards Crucible for a long time. I want to max level my character. I want to get into strikes as quickly as possible, because that is what stood out to me. I just ran Devil's Lair over and over. It was so fun. I'm doing Awoken Female Warlock, and I played Titan as my first beta character. Titans are cool. They get a great armor set, but I had more fun being a caster than I did being a tanky kind of person.
Yep.
So doesn't mean I'm not going to level a second character as a Titan. In fact, I plan on it, but where all my time is going right away is Warlock, because I just cannot wait to get further down their skill tree. Dude, we get to see skill trees. Finally, we get to actually see different things than what this level 8 beta and alpha stuff has shown us for so long.
I can't wait to get a level 20.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's going to be amazing. It's going
I'm
to be the best thing
smiling,
ever.
dude. Good stuff. So, everybody, next week we're going to have a show on Tuesday. It's going to be our new goal is every Tuesday. And I doubt, well, unless Ditty is planning on staying up all night, are you going to be playing that night?
Ooh, that's a good question.
You have school. I have work.
Well, see what? This is what I'm going to do. I work on Mondays, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
As soon as I get home, I'm going to go to sleep.
Oh, see? Yeah.
And I'm going to sleep until midnight. And then once midnight happens, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to play Destiny until I have school on Tuesday morning.
Okay.
Or I'm probably just going to skip school. No, I can't do that. Absolutely not. There's no way I can do that.
Yeah. No. Can't do that.
I have international business and information and network security on Tuesday, so there's no way I can miss those.
Dude, that sounds rough. One day of missed notes. Not even worth it. So we're going to talk next Tuesday morning. We'll see if Diddy's had his hands on the game for a little bit. I probably will not, because I'm going to have to take my Xbox into work to get things updated after hours. And then I'll begin my adventures. So
I'm going to do the podcast as I'm playing the game, let's be honest.
I'm fine with that. Hey, you'll be streaming it as we actually record the podcast.
Yes, live podcast next week. No, just kidding.
It could happen. It could. Everybody, thank you for listening. I want to say, like I said earlier, just a massive thank you to our fans and followers. You've made the last 7 to 8 weeks just phenomenal. I'm looking forward to the new adventures that await us. And, iTunes users, you guys are basically always going to get the show first. That's the way my workflow happens. So if you're an iTunes subscriber, you can definitely expect to get the show first. Be looking out for it on Tuesdays. Ditty, where can people follow you and find your content?
YouTube.com/whooshness with 3 O's. Twitter.com/whooshness with 3 O's. Twitch.tv/Ditty_, and Twitch.tv/Destiny the Show.
Remember, guys, to go to destinytheshow.com for regular post updates and all the links from today's show. You can email us, destinytheshow@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter. We love getting tweets. We didn't get too many this week, @DestinyTheShow. And you can follow me at BBK Dragoon. So have a good week, get ready for the adventure, and we'll see you next time, legends.